Welcome, everybody, to the Inner Circle. And today we have a special class. This is a new style of teaching that I haven't really done yet, and the first of its kind on this platform. And yeah, this class is called Spirits of the Earth. We're going to be sharing through prayer and breath and storytelling about this innate connection that we have with the spirits, with the energies that run through us and run through this world that we live in and connect us to all realms. And the primary spirit, we can say, is the breath. And the breath quite literally translates to the spirit. And when we talk about breath, we're not just talking about air. We're talking about a living force that runs through all life. And we can say that this force is life itself. Without this force, there is no life. There is nothing. The breath is what animates the matter. Breath of life. You're born and you breathe in, and when you die, you breathe out. But truly, you don't die, because as we know, the energies cannot be created or destroyed, they only transform. And so when we anchor ourselves into spirit, we're anchoring ourselves into the only thing that is lasting, the only thing that continues. Because everything in this world is transient, nothing in this world lasts. So before we even drop into the prayer space and the storytelling and sharing, we're going to do the most simplistic form of breathing. And this isn't a breathwork class. There are many classes here in this portal if you want to deepen your breath and yoga and movement practice. But I feel it's important that as we come into these sacred spaces, that we begin with the breath. And we should begin our day with the breath, with conscious breathing, with an awareness. And really, we should be taking deep breaths before anything that is important. Any decision that we're making, any activity that we're doing, there's a conversation you need to have with somebody, or you're going to teach a class or take a class, or really anything to bring awareness to the breath. And this becomes a practice that is returned to over and over, day in and day out, until it's something that is seamless, until that presence is always there. So the breathing that is called cadence breathing, and it's simply breathing in for the count of 4 seconds and exhaling for the count of 6. Now, you don't have to count, you don't have to be to the T, to a clock with this breathing, but the idea is just simply that You're breathing in fully, and then you are slowing down your exhales, reducing, um, not reducing, expanding the exhale, lengthening the exhale a bit longer than the inhale. And when we breathe in this pattern for some time, it brings us into our parasympathetic nervous system, which I now like to call the chill system, because it's not so nervous actually. It's very chilled out, relaxed. So just start doing that right now on your own. You don't need me to guide you with this. It's very simple. And we're starting this class because I would like you to just keep in mind the breath awareness throughout the length of this class and onwards from this point. To have an awareness of your posture, of your whole being in itself, just to bring some presence into your body. To fully occupy it, fully be aware of it. So deep inhales, not to the point that it hurts, not to the point that you're pushing on the lungs, stretching them, just full, and then let it go slowly. You can relax at the bottom just for a moment, and then let it rise in naturally. Hold at the top for a moment, and then let it fall. And we'll allow some silence just for a couple minutes here as we breathe. Closing the eyes, tuning inward. Breathing in this way helps us to slow down the thoughts, open ourselves up as a channel to the eternal source, to God. And as you breathe, I want you to practice not thinking. Many thoughts arise. Just be with the breath totally. Even if you can have 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds with no thought, that is a success. Notice the peace that permeates those moments. I invite you to continue to breathe in this way. Again, you don't have to count, just to be aware of it. Be aware of the depth of the breath. We're going to drop into the prayer space. I want to share briefly the purpose of the prayer from my perspective. The truth of the reality is that it is all happening perfectly. And so that begs the question of why would we need to pray for anything? If it is happening perfectly, wouldn't we just trust in that? What the prayer does for us is it reveals what that unfolding actually entails. Because we're opening up a channel between the perceived physical self, mental self, all the way to the God self. And we're allowing that highest self, highest version, God consciousness, Christ consciousness to speak through us here. And so with that effect, we bring clarity to the now moment. We bring clarity to what it is that we're here to do. We're opening up ourselves to receive direction. And we're bringing a certain guidance into our lives of how to walk, which way to walk. And in that, the prayer extends beyond what we would call the prayer. It extends into every moment of our lives. The way that we eat, the way that we prepare food is the prayer. The way that we do our work, the way that we move our bodies and breathe and talk, the way we make love, the way we make art, music. This is how we walk in the prayer. Because all of these activities, there is a certain allowance of this highest power to stream through. Really, it's anything when we're tapping into a flow state. What does that mean? It means that the flow, the energy, the spirit has become our state of being. We're no longer thinking or second guessing. So I'm going to share with you how I drop into prayer. And this is not something that is rehearsed or practiced. This is truly me surrendering and allowing this to come through. So you can be in any position that's comfortable. You can sit, you can lay down, you can even be walking around or driving your car, wherever you are. It's okay. Works. But if you are sitting or laying down, I invite you to close your eyes if you haven't already. Continue to let your breath guide you and hold you. As we open up this prayer space. I open up this prayer, allowing the purest, the truest, source frequencies to come through me. I open myself up as a vessel for the God, the highest self, the most pure, true, loving force, source energy from which all comes, to speak through me, act through me, and live through me, and enact the will, the most optimal unfolding of reality for myself and for the collective. I am yours. I am your divine instrument. Speak through me, act through me, live through me, enact your will through me. I bring my attention to this earth, plane, realm, this place that we call home. And I offer myself as guardian, as a caretaker, as a protector, as a warrior for this realm. And I declare that as long as I am here, I'm capable of giving my service to this earth, to this realm, that I will, that I am, doing my best to caretake, nurture, and protect. I declare that all life here is precious, and that I use my words, my music, and my presence, my energy like a sword to cut through any impurities, any false inversions laying over top of this world. I proclaim that I walk with no fear on this earth, because I know I am here for a purpose and a reason in this body, and that there is a work to be done, and that I can't leave until this work is done. I am at peace with all of nature. I pray for all life in this realm to be held in the balance. I pray for the reduction of suffering in this world, that we as humanity find ways to live in deeper balance and harmony with this world and all life on it. And so I bring this prayer to humanity, I pray for the strength, for the energy and the focus to be able to spread this message to mass amounts of humanity. In such a way that it influences on a massive level a shift in culture and ideology, which reminds people that they are not separate, that they are nature, and that we as humans are here to care for this natural world and live harmoniously with it as its caretakers, as its protectors. Pray for the influence through my music, my digital presence, and through my presence in this body, those around me, and as a point in the quantum field emanating out into all, affecting all. That this message is ingrained in the hearts of the people who are ready for it. And that this causes a massive ripple effect in the world. Which leads to a world where truth, integrity, love, inner peace are valued as the highest. Where all are cared for and held by the land, by the spirits of this land, wherever they are, wherever you are. Held by each other as humanity. Because we realize and remember that we are all one. And for us to truly ascend, none can be left behind. So I extend this prayer outwards through my entire body, through all my cells, with great reverence and respect, through all life around me, to those I love and those who love me, and to those I do not know, and to the ants, the spiders, the crickets, to all the insects, and to the grass, to the trees, and to the dirt, to all the plants, to the bacteria, to the smallest organisms, to the largest organisms emanating out from this point, through this valley here in Costa Rica, through all of Costa Rica, through all of the Americas, through all the continents, through the waters, all the creatures of the sea, the creatures of the lands, to the air, beneath the surface, Mother Earth, Father Sky, to the entire cosmos, the entire universe, all possible universes. I extend this prayer. And in this prayer, we are truly transcendent of belief. We are beyond belief, because belief leaves space for doubt and uncertainty. There is no space for doubt or uncertainty anymore. There is only space for trust, for knowing, for faith, unshakable, unwavering, undying faith, because that which is real, that which speaks through me, lives through me, as affirmed in my prayer, is unchanging, undying, unnameable. The closest thing we can compare to this force is love, is bliss, is truth. So I call in this energy, this truth, this Christ consciousness to pour through his body, the entire grander body of the earth, and all the cells on it, through all of creation, and beyond back to the source. To hold myself in this prayer, and hold any others who affirm this prayer in their own being. That we may show up as our fullest, purest, truest, highest versions of ourselves, as expressions of the One, united in union, as true family on this earth, reigniting the village architecture, reigniting new levels of community, where we transcend the need to be in the spotlight. We transcend the need to have the ownership, because we do not own this land. We do not own these bodies, even. And so I see in this prayer, I see this village architecture. I see us coming into deeper community where we are all held and supported, and we all sing together, we all dance together, we all create art. We all get to play. We all get to be human. But that is what it truly means to be human. In the fullness of my heart, I thank you. May there be peace to all beings. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'd like to open the space for a moment. If anyone has anything to add to this prayer, calls you. Do you want to add anything? So I have my brother David in this space, and he's going to drop in the prayer with us here and have his peace.
Thank you. Man, I can't even express how much just cosmic orgasmic bliss that I'm in right now. So, I could not refuse myself to come on here. And this is, me saying that in the most respectful, honorable manner for the space that's been cultivated here. That, I feel is really the greatest energy that we all carry within us. And so, to open that up and expand that and fuse that quote unquote sexual energy into our prayer, which is what creates love. We can use this prayer to then create, the timeline that we want to enter into individually and collectively. You know? So yeah, that's what I want to add in, having that just that feeling of deep pleasure within ourselves of just being still here right now, and how blissful that experience is. And even if it's not being fully felt right now, if there's things that might be in the way that are blocking it, that's okay. To fully honor and respect where we are right now, and just allow ourselves to be open to, to whatever that wants to come through. And when we can reach that sweet spot to where we remain open and receptive, yet also knowing that we're divinely protected, then, those energies that are only at the highest is what's going to pour in, highest expression of ourselves. So, just to know that you are held, that you are loved, that you're cared for, and, that just by you being and by you setting the intention of everything that was shared here before, um, and also just within yourself to really connect deeply to, that aspect, that layer of yourself that is connected to the Most High, to God, to the universe, whatever word that floats your boat, that there's no greater feeling than that. And just to allow it to come through. And that cosmic energy is then going to pour out into every area of your life, so that when you leave this space in this container, you can carry this with you and spread that and share that into every being that you meet, physically, as far as human beings and plants and animals go, but also spiritually as well. Um, because we're navigating multiple dimensions at once, and their vibration is felt across all realms. One ripple of love that you sow and that you cultivate right now could echo out into eternity, and you know plant one seed that can blossom into a whole new universe. That gets formed just by your sense of being vulnerable and being open. So, gratitude. Thanks for dropping in there. One moment of intense love we're doing now for eternity. Where they say your vibe attracts your tribe and resonance attracts what you resonate towards and what resonates towards you. And frequency is what you do frequently. All these things kind of point to the same idea. And so it really does matter the type of thoughts we entertain and our intentions in day-to-day life and what we spend our time doing, what we allow into our minds, into our subconscious, what we feed ourselves mentally and physically is all affecting our experience here. The most paradoxical part of it all is that even if you do something wrong, and you feel some regret that you like messed up or like you should have done that better, it was still supposed to happen that way. It's still perfect. It doesn't change that. Even if you take some radical action in your life to change things, it's still the unfolding happening through you. The prayers, it's the affirmation of it. It's the confirmation. And like I said earlier, it's the clarity. Like, what is it that I actually desire the most? And for me, when it really comes down to it, it's peace on earth. Which I know starts with peace within myself. But it's peace to all beings. So Papaji would say at the end of all his, or at the beginning and the end of all his satsangs, may all beings be at peace. May there be peace for all beings. Shanti, shanti, shanti. This is like the ultimate prayer for it all. And I see some seemingly radical shifts that occur in this world because of this prayer and because of the many people who walk in a similar prayer and hold this frequency and this knowing of where we are going. And we actually know who we are. We know what we're here to do, and we know where it's going. We know that love wins in the end. It's like watching a movie and you know the ending. You know that the main character is going to make it. And, there's going to be this peace at the end. But you're watching the movie and, there's some scenes, multiple scenes where it seems like he's not going to, or she's not going to make it. But if you really tune in this quantum level in this prayer, you see like what it actually all is, that it actually is all love. And this is spoken of in the book Eye of the Eye.
that every interaction, everything that's said, everything that's done, there is this projection that we witness with these eyes where we see the lower selves acting out the karma. But when we optimize that lens, we see that the higher selves are actually at peace with each other, and they're laughing about it and they're dancing. And what's happening down here is just a resolution. It's the equation, the mathematical equation just playing out, leveling itself out. So I want to share a story which may branch into some other tangents, but this story is about my time here in Costa Rica. And I came here feeling very disconnected to myself. Whereas for a period of time, I felt so connected to this higher power and so guided and so sure of myself and my path. And there was a series of events in life that rattled me so much, shook me so much that I got to a point in myself where I was second guessing my own direct experience of communicating with the divine. And just, did I hallucinate that all? Was I just crazy? Was any of that actually real? It's the point I had gotten to. And I felt so strongly that I needed to connect to nature in a way deeper than I had before. And I'm very blessed to be someone who was raised, I was born in a city and raised in a city and suburbs, but I got to spend a lot of time in nature. And this gave me this beautiful contrast where I got to be in what I would call the real world and the inverted world on top of it. And of course, seeing there is value in all of it, and that it is all nature, it is all the divine unfolding. And there is beauty in a city. There's so many beautiful people and so much beautiful art and life happening, families, and music, culture. And all of this is so beautiful. But there's also a certain disconnection from being in a city, walking on concrete and asphalt, wearing rubber soles in high buildings, and even in a suburb, being around all these houses and all these people's energy fields with all this Wi-Fi technology. So it was beautiful that I had these opportunities to go be immersed in nature, and it led to me being a nature boy who loved to climb trees and rocks and swim in streams and oceans, be in the sun, be in the sand, be in the dirt. But as you get older, you can kind of lose this connection, being in the world, feeling like you are of this world when really you come from a place beyond it. And nature is something, it's like a bridge in a sense. When we go into nature, it's just like the divine intervention, the divine influence of it all becomes obvious when you spend enough time in nature, because what am I even looking at? You know, trees are just like, come from a little seed, and this river is rushing and these huge rocks, and it's like, what even is all this? It's mind blowing, actually, if you like really like take the time to just observe it. So I was feeling disconnected, and I reached out through my Instagram and I said, I would like to get my hands dirty. I'd like to work on the land. And I was invited out here. Somebody saw that. My brother Light saw that. And he invited me out here to work on a permaculture project. And after some time, there was a lot of factors that almost pushed me to not come here. To the extent that, yeah, I was told that I couldn't come. And I injured both of my feet at the same time. Kayaking, whitewater kayaking. I kayaked into a rock and sprained both my feet right before I was going to come here to do this work. Manual labor, work with the land. But I visualized myself healing, and I decided, like, no, I have to come. It became very clear in that moment when it was suddenly taken away from me. The reaction that I felt inside my body was like, whoa, I actually do want to do this. And so I ended up coming out here. I healed my feet. My body healed my feet. And I came out here. And I worked on this permaculture project for 3 months. And it was the most intense work of my life, the most intense manual labor I've ever been a part of. And, you know, respect to people that do manual labor for a living and work much longer days and longer weeks than I did, because we did 30 hours a week, 6 hours a day, 5 days a week. And that was intense in itself. And we were out digging, carrying buckets and wheelbarrows of soil and rock, clay, filling up beds in the greenhouse, carrying large bags of soil up and down a mountain, down a hill, but it's like a mountain. All sorts of things. And then ultimately, doing compost, ultimately planting seeds, growing food, which we got to reap the benefits of later. And so this was the initial piece that led to me connecting back with myself, just getting dirty, getting my hands dirty and my feet dirty, and just mud all over my body and sweat, and getting this pump and just breathing, working in the rain, drinking the rainwater, walking on this jungle path to a stream, drinking the stream water, waterfall water, dancing naked in this waterfall. And then having this respect for the land. So now we're in the jungle, it's serious. There's snakes, there's big cats, there's bullet ants. Bullet ants which will sting you and it feels like you got shot. So it reminded me to have this respect and reverence for the nature, for how grand, how powerful it is. You don't kill a bullet ant. You respect their space. You go around them, you jump over, you know? And so the bullet ants, now we have a relationship. I see them all the time at the stream I go to. And they sense me, and they don't come near me. Because we recognize each other's power. I'm never going to intentionally hurt a bullet ant, get in its way. I'm not afraid of them. I just respect them. And in turn, they sense that. They feel that intention. They feel the fear and they feel the love. These are the two fundamental opposing forces of the duality. So anyway, we worked this land, and I knew as I began that work that it was going to transform me. I didn't know how, but I just knew, like, if I'm working physically outside in nature for 30 hours every week, and it's like hard work, it's grueling work, um, there's no way that doesn't change my being and my state of mind. And so I just showed up and I was open to that, to this transformation that was going to occur. And you know, it happened before my eyes. Before I knew it, like I was a different person. My body had changed, my spirit had changed, my mind had changed. And I began to connect deeper into myself again, push past all these fears. And truly, you know, I was around beautiful people, but truly I felt held by the land. I felt held by this mountain that I was on, by this ocean in the distance, and by all of the nature. And I never quite felt that before in that way, in that intensity. I just felt safe in it. And here we are in the jungle, right? It's dangerous, but I felt safe to be myself. And there were a series of psilocybin mushroom experiences in that time as well that were very healing. The first one being on the beach, where I was swimming through the water like a merman. And I felt this strong code, Atlantean Aryan. And I saw this ancient lineage that I was connected to, back to Atlantis, to Lemuria. And those combined forces, Atlantis. And I felt how not only me, but there's a soul pod. And how there were those in my family who were also there with me in that time. And I saw such a clear image of this girl, young girl, swimming through this water, diving, and there was all these sharks and fish and colorful coral and things. And everything's just at peace, everything's just flowing. And the only thoughts this girl had were, we are peace, we are love, we are one, we are connected. And it made me think, like, what happens in this world to go from that to where we are now? And what I heard in my mind was infection. That almost something other, something foreign came here, influenced here. What we are doing now is remembering this natural way of life, where civilization was more advanced than it is now, and that they were deceived. Really, it was a mental infection. It was the ego infection. So all of these experiences led me closer to this remembrance of who I am and why I felt so sure of myself in the past, why I felt so connected to the highest source energy in the past. So this was the first piece. The first piece I shared was the prayer, but the prayer didn't come into my life later. So I'll say this was the first piece, was just coming to nature, surrendering. I'm going to work in nature. I'm going to get my hands dirty. I'm going to get grounded. I'm going to be in the sun and breathe the fresh air and eat the natural foods. This was the first piece. Next, we finished the job in the permaculture project and we moved into a house together closer to the beach. And every day we would go to the beach for the sunset, about an hour or two before sunset. And this beach where we were going to, it was a national park and they charge $7. No matter what time of day it is, they just flat rate, $7 to get in. And my brothers and I, we felt like this wasn't right. You know, if I'm just coming for 1 to 2 hours, coming in nature, first of all, like no one owns this land truly. And we have such love and respect for this land. We know we are here as caretakers and protectors of this land. And so we would show up and truly, I was in this house for 6 months. I went to the beach almost every single day. And 98% of the time, I walked in that beach for free. Just walked right in. Sometimes there would be a brief conversation with the person taking tickets, explaining like, hey, we're just coming for a little bit. We shouldn't have to pay this amount. And for the most part, they would let us in. There was very few times that we actually paid. And I was actually, I'm happy I paid the times I did because you should always get back. But that in itself was this proof that we were held by the land, that the spirits of the land actually wanted us there. Because we would show up to this beach, and here's the next piece, is we would play. We would play harder than anybody there. We would run there barefoot, no shirts. So we're grounded, connected. We would climb the coconut trees that you're not supposed to climb, which doesn't make any sense. It's free water hanging from the trees. We climb the coconut trees and get the coconut water, the plasma, ormus rich water. And we would sprint down the beach and roll around in the sand and jump in the waves and laugh and sing and make crazy noises and just be completely free. Just be completely human. And it was like the more we allowed ourselves to just let go and just trust, the more beautiful it become and the more held we would actually be by the land. And there were situations where, I had to cross a river that has crocodiles in it. And we saw this crocodile, 12-foot long crocodile, and just had to cross the river and just know, like, there's no way this being is going to attack me or come near me, because again, this being is intelligent and it feels my intentions and it feels my energy and it knows that I care about it. It knows that I care about the nature as a whole and that I play a role here, doing good for the world. And so these beings that we consider to be scary are actually protectors, they're spirit guides. When I first saw that crocodile, I was like almost obsessed. Like I needed to just like sit with it and look at it. I felt so much power from that being. And it saw me too. I felt it looking at me, feeling my energy and this mutual respect between us. The same thing I feel with these bullet ants. Many miraculous moments walking in the dark through the jungle with no flashlight, no shoes. And you're just walking with trust. It's all you can do in that moment. You just have to trust and have faith that you're held. And there are snakes slithering past. There are crocodiles that come out onto the land at that time of night. There are scorpions and tarantulas. I don't feel a fear about any of them. And it doesn't mean that I'm going to put myself intentionally in harmful situations. I'm not going to intentionally seek these things out and come in their space, because that's not the respect, right? It's just knowing like I'm in my space and I'm just coming through here and then doing their things, and we just all respect each other, love each other. So we've talked about getting the hands dirty. We've talked about playing, not taking it too seriously, like just having fun, realizing like nature is playground, and the spirits, the protecting spirits of the land, they're playful, they're loving, like they want to see us playing and being human. They want to see us being free. They don't want to see us walking on the beach wearing rubber shoes covered in sunscreen. I'll tell you that. And so that leads to a a focal point of the story, which is that before I get to that, the other point that I forgot to mention, but I have mentioned already, is just to connect with the elements. So the 4 points we have are to walk in the prayer. It's prayer that we laid in the beginning. To connect with the elements. So to be barefoot, to get the sun, get the dirt on you, swim in the natural waters. To get the hands dirty, work the land, plant things, nurture them, protect them, sweat, move your body in the sun. To play and have fun and don't take it too seriously. And so that leads to this point that I was coming to, which was this powerful confirmation of it all. And so there was another night where a few of us brothers together took some psilocybin, and one of my brothers took a larger dose. He wanted to go deeper, and we were there to hold him in that container in smaller amounts. And originally we were just going to stay at our house, be in that stillness, and then there was this pull to go to the beach late at night. The stars were shining, it was clear sky. And so we all went to the beach late at night and snuck in through the gate. And the spirits love that too, because there's not supposed to be a gate keeping you out of nature. So they like when you break the silly rules. So we went there and we went into the water, and going into these waters at nighttime can also be considered dangerous. This is when the stingrays come out and sharks, and the crocs are at the edge of the river, maybe going into the ocean. Like, who knows? Who knows what's out there. And so as we went into the water, we collectively laid this prayer similar to the one that I spoke in the beginning of. We're here as caretakers of this planet. Like, we are here to nurture and protect, and our ultimate mission is to preserve and protect this land and its beauty. And we just laid that prayer very clearly, and then we jumped in the water and we surrendered and we trusted and we had fun and we played. And as we were walking back on this dark path, there's the thought that arises of, there could be some highly venomous snakes or tarantulas or scorpions, crocodiles here on this path right now. None of us have flashlights. It's completely dark. And that thought arose, and I thought about the prayer, and I came right back to trust. And right in that moment, my brother who had taken the larger dose, he had actually disappeared earlier in the trip. He was just gone. And we were just like, all right, he's doing his thing. He just pops out of nowhere, like pops out of the bushes. He's all smiley. You can tell like he just went through kind of maybe the difficult part and he's come out the other side. And the first thing he says to us is, he was like, the spirits of the lands have a message for you guys. It wants you to know that it really likes you. And that was just like an ultimate confirmation for me in that moment. Like, I just already knew we had laid this prayer. And just so you know, like, the brother who said this to us, he wasn't there for the prayer part. He was off somewhere else. So he wasn't even aware that we had laid this prayer down or that it was something on my mind in that moment. He just popped up and just, he's like, the Spirit loves you. And the Spirit really likes you. And I knew from that moment on, without a doubt, that we were protected. And pretty much every day after that, we continued to get in the beach for free, watching other people coming right before us and paying, and we just walk right in. Some days, like I said, there'd be a conversation with the person. We explain, like, hey, like, we really can't be paying this every day for just like 1 hour here. And other days, just walking right past them, just waving, hello, good night. We're just coming for a quick swim, you know. We would just walk right in. Or we found another secret entrance that we could go to as well. But either way, we made it onto that beach every night for sunset. So what this all comes down to now, we're going to close out soon, is you have your own individual spirit. And wherever you are right now, there are spirits, elementals, we can call them as well. These ancient energies that are guardians, they are protectors. And there is a grander spirit of the earth. And beyond that, there is the great spirit, which is the breath, which comes through all. And all of these spirits are connected in the breath, in the great spirit. And so it comes back to the breath and how every breath that we take, we get to choose our level of presence. We get to choose what we do with that breath and the thoughts that we breathe into, the patterns we breathe into, the habits, the activities we breathe into. And this is what ripples out and creates our reality, our experience of reality. And so it's really like the intentions that we put in each breath, that is the prayer that we walk. And it's this prayer that emanates out and interacts with all other energies. And this is what affects the experience we have and the response we get from the world around us, how the world forms. So the spirits of the earth, they love you and they want you to be human again. They want you to stop caring about all the superficial things and really care for this land, for this earth. By caring for ourselves, being at peace within ourselves, and remembering to play through it all. And with that, you are held, you are protected. And to just say that there is no one way to do it. This is just my direct experience that I'm sharing. But we all have our own way to connect into ourselves and into nature, and our own way to play and express ourselves and feel free and feel in that flow state. And that is the greatest service you can offer to the world. Because from that place, all you can emanate to those around you is love, is this uplifting force, this healing force, regenerating. So as we close out, I invite you to remember the breath awareness. And every time you offer your energy and attention and prayer, whether it be through word or action or breath, it is noticed, it is seen, it is felt. And know that your prayers are heard. Allow yourself to spend time alone in nature, to expose yourself to the elements, to rewild yourself in a sense. Touch the dirt with bare hands and your feet. Have a relationship with a plant, friendship. See it all as play. You can work hard, but play harder. And know that in all these things that you do, you are walking in this prayer that we've said today. Thank you for tuning into this video. There are many more offerings in this library for you to explore. And I hope that what is needed finds you, ease and grace. I trust that. I know that what is meant for you will find you with ease and grace. Peace to all beings. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Bless.